Right then, here I am in the Netherlands in a Talbot Tagora. Frankly, life doesn't get a lot better than this. It belongs to Albert here.
Correct.
And it's a 2.2, so not the very rare V6, but I'm going to enjoy this nonetheless. Let's go the right way around the car park. So this has got the same 2.2, well, it's a Simca engine, isn't it, I think?
Yeah.
That was in the Matra Morena of an earlier video this year. But sadly without the twin Delorto carburetors, it sounds a bit more refined, shall we say. Well, it's already got a better gear change for a Matra Morena. But what's it warning me about now? It's got some sort of...
Oh, that's nothing. That's just a warning light for the brake system. French technique.
Ah, right, okay.
Don't worry.
Yeah, French electric.
if the sign doesn't burn, it's broken.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
That way?
The left, yeah.
So the Talbot Tagora is not one of the successful cars in history, I think it's fair to say. Or was it about 20,000 they built?
No, it was, I believe, something more than 25,000.
Oh, right.
Of which of them were 1,082 V6.
Yeah, so yeah,
And the
not
rest?
very many V6.
And the rest, yeah, you know. But I must say, I do see quite a lot still that I say pop up. If you think about that, only 1,082 were produced, and still there are quite some left.
Yeah, V6 is, well, Tagoras full stop are very rare in the UK, so this feels amazing to be driving one. Yeah, they just weren't successful in their day, and I think part of that was probably the looks. They're not the most exciting car.
They are not,
to look at.
but they do have a real good character, and they are easy to drive, you know.
Yeah.
And the only thing is...
Watch out for swans.
You're right, the big one either.
Yeah.
But they're really easy to handle. The only thing is, you have the feeling that in a curve or something, with wet weather especially, or when it has, when it did freeze especially, then don't hit the throttle too hard, because you know it loses its back end. Easy.
Yeah.
When it's wet.
Right.
When it's dry, no problem.
Yeah. Well, no problems today. It's still
no, today don't
hot.
worry.
Yeah. Right, so here's a look around the controls, various warning lights and buttons.
You have even the test button.
Ooh.
If you have to,
Let's put the ignition on, press the test button.
You see it anyway. This one is for the front lights, but somewhere over here is the... I'm lucky that even almost everything is there, but if you press this one, you can see what's wrong eventually.
Yeah,
this is for
all
the
the
brake,
lights.
this is for the oil, and this for the rear lights. So it's broken, you can actually see it on your dashboard.
I like the headlamp control. Is that?
That's to adjust them.
To adjust them, right.
Right.
And then indicators.
Indicators. That's for the
main beam.
Yeah, for the big. This is the wipers. This is actually the one that is. If you put it up, it goes actually in. So it turns in one time in 10 seconds.
Yeah, intermittent. Yeah. We've got the essential digital clock and quite a nice radio. By the look of it.
Yeah, that's an original radio, but only one box is French. It stays French.
High-speed gearbox, good to see. Right, let's go and have a jump in the back. There's the electric window switches. Oh, turn the ignition off. Might be a good idea.
Yeah, but that's my fault.
If I take my bag out the back. Knee room aplenty, look at that. And comfortable enough for headroom. I like how the headliner is stapled up, so at least it isn't dropping on my head like it was in the Oldsmobile Delta I drove recently. But yeah, I mean, it's quite spacious, light and airy. I mean, look how angular the window is. It's completely rectangular, which is a bit unusual in itself. So let's have a look at the outside in general. There we go, the mighty Talbot Tagora. Very French, but somehow not the most exciting of executive designs. Although when you say that, it's worth remembering that the Peugeot 604 wasn't that remarkable really. It's kind of an in-house rival. Plastic covers for the mirrors are missing because they just break up in the light. But there's the odd scuff about, paint's a bit matte in places, so you can tell it's a car that came from France. Originally it's got that slightly dishevelled look, which I love so much. And we're in the posh GLS. But the simple rear light design is very much like the Alpine and Solara. And an interesting thing is, look how inboard the rear wheels are compared to the wing. That's because they used the Peugeot 505 rear axle, because Peugeot Citroën bought Talbot before the Tagora came to market and insisted on changes. So the front suspension was changed to a McPherson strut rather than double wishbone, and the 505 rear axle was used. And also the PRV V6 Peugeot Renault Volvo was used in the higher spec models, and some even came with headlamp wipers, which is perhaps what these are for, stopping the blades, which would go up and down. Very nice. Let's have a nose under the bonnet. So there we go, the 2.2 litre Simca engine with just one small Solex carburetor, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Rather than the twin Delautos we had on that Simca, and a rather more accessible engine than the Matras, not the Simca. You can actually get it. Look, there's a fair bit of space around it. You can see the ground quite clearly around it. So how much power?
It has 150 horsepower.
Well, that's not too bad. I imagine it's got a good bit of torque as well. It feels plenty for the car, as long as you don't want to go racing.
It doesn't weigh much over 1200 kilograms. 1218, I think it is.
Yeah, that's quite light for a big car, isn't it? I mean, most family hatchbacks are more than that these days.
Back in the day, yeah, you didn't have much safety.
Got a lovely old barge. Right, let's go back to the road. Yes, the seats are very comfortable, although they are made in the sort of fabric that degrades in UV, something else the French specialise in. Yes, I'm not really sure why the Tagora was so unsuccessful, because I mean it isn't a bad car to drive. Maybe they just didn't promote it that hard. Maybe Peugeot didn't want the Tagora to succeed. It's certainly not a bad motorway car, is it?
No, it's not.
I like the fact the speedometer needle is slightly curved.
I know.
Melted in the heat.
Probably.
Yeah.
37 years old, remember? We also have our spots in our face after years.
So from what I was reading this morning, it seems like they sold about 15,000 Tagoras in the first year, which was 1980, the first year it was on the market.
1981 actually.
Right, so yeah.
This one is from the 5th of March 1981, which is a very early one. The oldest in Holland anyway.
Wow.
So we take this exit. And on top we go to the left.
Yes, by 1983 it was all over for the Tagora.
Yeah, that's
Production
correct.
ended.
The last GLS equipped vehicles were also delivered with an SX interior. To have the customer a little bit more interested in the Tagora. But I think mainly the reason that Peugeot wasn't interested in Talbot anymore. They only wanted to take the production line.
Yeah.
And I actually have this message and this information from the first hand, from actually somebody from France that was working in the factory. Talbot had a factory in Poissy, and Peugeot wanted to have this production line really badly.
Yeah.
That's the main reason. And of course, Peugeot itself wasn't also doing so great because there were the crisis years.
Yes, and now we're seeing it all again, because
so we go to the left.
PSA has just bought Vauxhall, well, Opel and Vauxhall.
Yeah, of course.
And I think that's going to be the end of Vauxhall, to be honest.
I think so, yeah.
Oh, so we've got a bit of body roll going on the roundabout.
Yeah, that's
very French.
Yeah, that's true.
But the steering's nice.
Yeah.
Feels planted. an engine you really need to rev. It's got a nice spread of torque.
Yeah. I mean, if you are in a hurry, you can use it, but it isn't grateful about it.
No, no, I imagine it
You
just
can
gets,
do it, but like I say,
yeah, it just gets louder and not all that faster.
no. Then you have to really push it in the higher RPMs.
So how long have you owned this car?
In the meantime, 10 years. 10 years, really, yeah.
Yeah, wow. How long have you had your Solara?
I bought it in 2009, in June 2009.
Right.
And then I restored it and started driving with it in December 2011. Also came from France, of course. But the Solara, that's a very funny fact, it has Simca on the deck.
Oh.
Because it's still built 23rd of December 1980. And until the end of 1980, Simca was put on the back of the trunk, on the left, instead of Talbot,
that's a
where it was
very
really,
early Solara.
yeah, where it was really a Talbot. And it has the French saying Nouvelle Talbot Solara, meaning new Talbot Solara.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the window for it. I don't agree with putting the electric window switches in that manner on the door. It's a bit strange.
It's French again, like Talbot is strange. Everything is strange about Talbot.
Yes, I think I like this car a lot. That surprises me not at all.
Well, the people who drive it and sit in it, they actually say, well, it's just comfortable, I'd like to drive it. I don't understand why it wasn't a success, but you know, in Holland there is a saying, onbekend maakt onbemind, meaning if nobody knows about you, nobody will ever love you. In fact.
I feel like I'm living the dream driving the Talbot Tagora around in the Netherlands. Hubnut goes international. But Hubnut has been to many countries this year.
You can say that again.
Yeah.
I must say, I saw the adventure in the Dacia and I was really like, oh, I can understand why you did it.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, after all, then you can say it was a trip, you know, so big. If they would ask you again to do it, I don't know if you would say yes, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd do it again. But,
You were crazy to do it.
Yeah,
I know the story. I've been there also.
Yeah.
The Solara, I was driving 1,137 kilometers, not much if you compare it, but same
Yeah.
story.
Super. Well, I'll tell you what, I would like to drive a Tagora again. That has been excellent. So, yeah, thank you very much for the experience.
No problem. You're welcome.
So, yeah, if you want to see more road test videos, don't forget to subscribe before you go. And I shall see you again in a future video. Farewell.